Christos voskres, voistino voskres. Christ is risen, truly is risen. It's Father Basil again doing another podcast. And I'm going to continue my message about living with the Virgin Mary. How we can make the Virgin Mary a part of our everyday life. And again, I'm going to read from My Divine Friend, this old prayer book made by the Redemptorist Order of Priests in Canada. So this is what it says. Children live with their mothers. We must imitate the little children and behave with Mary as they do with their earthly mothers. We must stay in contact with her in all our works and occupations. A constant remembrance of our Heavenly Mother will unite us to her and will help to behave as Mary's children. Spending our days in her presence makes it possible to pass our time with Mary. This is the life with Mary. If we achieve it by a steady everyday practice of remembering Mary in all our works, occupations, and amusements, we will live with Mary and become her perfect children, in whom she will be well pleased and of whom she will be proud before the angels of heaven. Is such a life possible to men? Can they spend all their life with Mary? Yes. Life is only today. Today is a lifetime in miniature. For what we have of our life is today. Life is composed of minutes, hours, days, weeks, and months. If we spend them with Mary, our whole life will pass in her presence. Mary is the best possible companion of our Christian life. There is a proverb which says, "Tell me with whom you converse, live, and I'll tell you who you are." If Mary is our constant companion in our work and occupations and the discharge of our personal duties and recreations, we will be influenced by her and will become holy. This is exactly the life that Mary expects of her children. So how should we practically look at our life with Mary? Let us see Mary in our daily life and consider whether we can imitate her and do as she did. If we can do that, our life will be Mary-like because it will pass in union with her. So firstly, Mary at work. Mary's life at Nazareth resembled that of other women and wives of that time. She did what other women did. She took care of her little home. She washed the clothes for Jesus and Joseph. She baked bread. She cooked the meals. There is nothing in Mary's life that would impress an outsider, except that all she did for Jesus. Can't we imitate her in doing all we have to do for Jesus and Mary? Mary at prayer. The Holy Fathers of the Church affirm that Mary's life was one of continual prayer. Doubtless it was so, but we should not imagine Mary kneeling all day in prayer. No, she was a housewife and a mother. She had no servants. Most of her time was therefore dedicated to the manual work demanded by the good order of the house in which Jesus lived. There was certainly a time when Mary prayed, saying her morning prayers and evening prayers with Jesus. She must have said short prayers before and after her meals. Mary's life was a continual prayer in the sense that she was trying to supernaturalize, that is, to make holy and pleasing to God all of her works and occupations by means of a good intention. Frequent prayers and a constant remembrance of God, of recollection. Thus, all her prayers were directed to God, and in this sense, they were prayers. Can't we imitate our Heavenly Mother in leading such a life? When we perform our daily duties of work in our shop, in our school, at home, or at the office, can't we pray in the morning when we wake up? Can't we dedicate our day and all our daily works, our occupations to Mary? Can't we make now and then during during work and a prayer to Jesus and Mary, we can and we should, if we wish to become Mary's beloved children and please her. And Mary at play. Men cannot work all the time. They need some relaxation. Recreation, fun, amusements must be used for the glory of God and our own physical and spiritual welfare. Jesus and Mary were utterly human. It is hard to conceive them as being human and not ever playing. There must have been some play and relaxation in Mary's life. She must enjoy it also when she looks down from heaven and sees her earthly children engaging in lawful amusements, sports, recreation, and fun. As a girl at home, Mary must have played the games that the girls of her age played. In the Temple of Jerusalem, there must have been some time set aside for her recreation. After Jesus was born, Mary played with him. There were people who came to visit Mary's home, relatives and guests to be entertained. Mary went to the wedding at Cana. Can't we imitate Mary at play and amusements? Yes, we can. But we must always bring Jesus to our play. That is, we must amuse ourselves without offending God. This is the way to amuse ourselves and to relax in Mary's way. She likes it and she blesses her children who are having such amusements. So, this is some really, really wise words of Mary's life. Mary was a human being, just like the rest of us. She had to work. She had to, help Joseph, her husband, raise Jesus. She had her household duties. She had her, time to raise Jesus as any mother would. But yet, she did all of this for the glory of God. She did everything in her power to maintain her sinlessness. She never sinned. She always took time for prayer. She always took time to please God in everything she did. But, sometimes we, as human beings today, say, well, we're so busy, we're so preoccupied with things. We are so worried about our financial status. We're worried about our health. We're worried about our family and friends and what we're going to do, our future. I'm sure Mary had a lot of those same concerns as we do. But those concerns she took to God. She took to God every day in her simple life, in her prayerful life, in her life of living God's will. And we can do the same thing. We don't have to be rich and famous in order to please God. We don't have to have a lot of money. We don't have to have all these possessions to please God. All we have to do is follow the Gospels, follow Jesus' teaching like Mary did, and follow this. Just be this make sure that we are prayerful. That make sure that every time we have a situation in our life, we pray. That's how we will follow Mary to heaven. God bless you. Have a good day.